My name's Mr. Pfeiffer, and some of you will know me because I teach music and singing in Solihull schools. Today I'm going to introduce you to something about your voice. So let's make a start. I want you to have a little feel to start with, and we're going to start on our neck area. And if you feel along the sides, you will feel muscle. It's quite soft, squidgy, a little poke. But then if we go further round, it starts to go a little bit harder. Can you feel that? Have a little wander around with your little walk around with your fingers. And that's the bit we're going to talk about today. It's called your larynx. That's a scientific name for it. It can also be called your voice box, or some of you will have heard of your Adam's apple. So what I'm going to do is I just want you to do a little task for me to start with. We're going to put our hand around our neck, but we're going to keep it very gentle. We don't want to be hurting ourselves. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is this. I'm going to ask you to make a humming sound. It sounds like this. Your turn. Go after 3. 1, 2, 3. What did you feel? Did you notice any buzzing sensation or vibration? Did you feel it maybe moving in some other way? I tell you what, let's try something else. This time we're going to do the same thing. Put a hand here, but instead of just one hum, we're going to do a low hum up to a high hum and down again. It sounds like this. You listening? Ooh. You try it after 3. 1, 2, 3. Ooh. What did you notice then? Did you feel the vibration still? You might have noticed something else happening. Now my larynx, when I did that, did something amazing. It did this. Let me show you. Watch. Ooh. Did you notice what happened? My voice, when it was low, my larynx was down there, and when my voice was high, my larynx moved up there. Have a little look again. You watching? Ooh. Now your voice does that as well. If you can't see it, or can't feel it rather, go and have a look in the mirror. Try it. Put this on pause and go and have a look at that in the mirror. So, that's an amazing thing. Watch this as well then. If I put my hands here again, I'm going to swallow. After 3, you swallow. 1, 2, 3. Did you feel it go up and down? Watch. So your larynx isn't just about making a sound. It's obviously involved in your swallowing. So let's just have a little look, shall we? Here is a model of a larynx. Now don't get worried. Your larynx is not blue. Your larynx is not that big. This is probably about the size of a big cow or a moose or something like that. And it's made of lots of parts. It's an amazing structure, part of your body. Yeah? So let's have a little look around. So first of all, I'm going to take you to the top. See that there? That bit there, it's got 2 horns on it. That actually is a bone, and that's called your hyoid bone. And do you remember when we're having a feel underneath here? But if you go right to the back, you'll feel your hyoid bone. And the hyoid bone is there for your tongue to rest on it. What else have we got in here? Well, let's have a little look. We're going to go to the bottom first. Here is your trachea, or your windpipe. And your windpipe, of course, is part of the responsible for breathing. And that leads up to, and I'm just going to rotate, these 2 things here. And those are your vocal folds, or your vocal cords. And those open when you breathe. So I'm breathing in. They don't open like that. They're not bent like that. But this model doesn't work perfectly. And when I stop breathing, they close. So I'm breathing. letting the air back in and holding it. So that's part of your breathing mechanism as well. But they also vibrate. Did you notice these two things here? They're called your arytenoid cartilages. They're kind of pyramid shaped. And those help to open up and close your vocal folds, which will vibrate together hundreds of times a second. It's an amazing thing, really. Now, when you swallow, what happens is they close down. They stay closed because you don't want food going down there. But also above there are two other pieces of material, and they're called your false vocal folds, and those also close. And then this leaf shape here, this leaf-shaped thing here, is called your epiglottis, and that's like a big plug on the top. So you've got 3 levels of protection for when you swallow. So when you swallow, all of that closes down, and then the food goes down the back, down the food pipe, and doesn't get stuck in your airway, which is would be really bad for you. You've all had a little choke. Something's gone down the wrong way a little bit. So we know what that's like. Okay, so those are the inside bits. What about the outside bits? Well, let's just have another little look. You've got this shield-shaped thing, and that's another cartilage, and that's called your thyroid cartilage. Can you see it's got a little notch there? Yeah. And underneath there's a space, and it's a space between your thyroid cartilage and your cricoid cartilage. Now your cricoid cartilage goes all the way around. It's a circular shape. Let me just rotate. Can you see it goes all the way around the back? And that's a bit like the shape of a signet ring, with the smallest bit at the front and the largest bit at the back. If you're not sure what a signet ring is, your parents might have one, or you could look online and see what a signet ring is. Okay, so what do? Well, they're very interesting little parts of your anatomy, because if you look down here, can you see there's a little, they join there. There's a little joint there. It's like a little hinge. So that fits in there, and they're able to move around, just like your finger can move around like that. That's what they can do. Now the thyroid cartilage, that can tilt that way, and watch what happens to the space when the thyroid cartilage tilts. It goes that way. Did you see what happened? The space got smaller. Now the the cricoid cartilage, the one at the bottom, that can do something else. That can go that way, and the space will get bigger. Now, that's really good for your voice, because they have an effect. They help to get these two bits, the vocal folds, to make, they can be stretched, or they can be bunched up, they can be thickened, like elastic bands. And those are responsible for not just making your voice go higher and lower, but for making different sounds. For instance, watch. Little whimpery sound helps make a little whimpery sound. But this one, oi, oi, helps me to shout. But I don't want to shout too much. It's also responsible for making different vocal sounds. So that's an introduction to how your voice works to start with, and hopefully there'll be some other information coming your way. See you next time. Bye.